In a small, quiet town, a young woman named Emily lived alone in a cozy little house at the end of Maple Street. The summer was ending, and the days were getting shorter, with the sun setting earlier each evening. Emily loved the peace and tranquility of her home, but recently something strange had been happening. It started on a Friday evening. Emily was relaxing on her couch, reading a book, when suddenly the phone rang. It wasn't her cell phone, but the old landline she kept in the house for emergencies. The sound was sharp and unexpected, breaking the silence of the room. Emily hesitated for a moment, then walked over to the phone. She picked up the receiver and said, "Hello?" There was no response. She repeated herself, but still there was only silence on the other end. Confused, Emily hung up and dismissed it as a prank call. But the next day, it happened again. This time, the phone rang 3 times before she could answer. "Hello?" she said, her voice a bit more anxious. Again, no one replied. The line was dead, just a faint static hum. Emily's heart began to race as she hung up the phone. Over the next few days, the calls became more frequent. Every evening, like clockwork, the phone would ring. Emily started to dread the sound. She tried to ignore it, letting the phone ring until it stopped, but the ringing only grew more insistent. It seemed to echo through the house, filling every corner with its unnerving sound. One night, determined to put an end to the mystery, Emily waited by the phone. As soon as it rang, she snatched up the receiver and shouted, "Who is this? What do you want?" This time, there was a response, but not in words. Emily heard a faint whisper, a voice so soft she could barely make it out. It sounded like it was coming from far away, as if someone was speaking from the other side of a vast, dark void. "Help me," the voice whispered. Emily's blood ran cold. She dropped the phone, her hands trembling. The voice sounded familiar, but she couldn't place it. She tried to shake off the fear, convincing herself it was just her imagination. But then, the voice came again, this time louder and more desperate. "Help me, Emily." It knew her name. In a panic, Emily unplugged the phone from the wall, but the ringing didn't stop. The phone rang louder and louder, filling the house with its eerie sound. Emily covered her ears and backed away, her heart pounding in her chest. Suddenly, the ringing stopped. The house was silent, but the silence was even more terrifying. Emily slowly stood up, her breath shallow. She cautiously approached the phone, which was now eerily quiet. The phone rang one last time. Emily didn't answer it. Instead, she ran out of the house, her fear driving her into the night. As she reached the street, the house behind her seemed to loom in the darkness, and the phone continued to ring inside, a chilling echo in the night. No one ever found out who or what was trying to reach Emily. The house remained empty after she moved away, but some say that if you walk by on a quiet evening, you can still hear the faint sound of a phone ringing, unanswered in the darkness.